You didn't get here because you wanted to. It wasn't because he was bored, nor because it happened to appear on his screen. I know you think you were just scrolling through your feed, looking for something that would fill that void, trying to get away from the worry, the pressure. But what you're hearing now doesn't come from the earth, it comes from the sky. I prepared this meeting myself. It was I who breathed your name at the right time. It was I who moved everything around you so that you could hear what will change your story. This is not just any message. It's an answer. It's help. It's direction. You thought you were lost. That no one else saw, that no one else heard. You tried to understand the signs, you tried to interpret the silences, you tried to force doors that remained closed. And deep down, within you, that burning and uncomfortable question arose: does God still remember me? Today it is I, your Father, who answers you clearly. I remember. I saw. I heard. I never stopped watching you. You did not lose yourself from me. It was the world that tried to confuse you. But I remained, even in the silence, even in the darkness. I was there, waiting for the right moment to call you close again. Do not doubt anymore. Don't minimize what you're feeling right now. This turmoil in the heart, this shiver in the soul, this desire to cry without knowing why, this is me touching you. I am here. I'm calling you. I'm telling you, the time has come. That moment when you waited in silence, when you prayed in secret, when you didn't even know if it was still possible. I saved this moment just for you. And now that you are listening, know that there is a revelation hidden in these words. There is a spiritual key that will be given only to those who listen until the end. You asked for proof. Asked for confirmation. He said quietly, God, if you are the Lord, speak to me in a way that I have no doubts. So listen, I was the one who brought you here. It was I who held your mind when it thought about giving up. It was I who supported you when the ground seemed to give way. You're hearing this now because you resisted. Because even with a tired heart, he continued searching. Even though he didn't see a way out, he still believed that something could happen. And this faith, even if small, even if tremendous, is what moves my hand now. I saw your pillow wet with tears that no one noticed. I saw your eyes lost, your body present, but your soul far away. I saw the moment when you thought about stopping everything, about letting it go, about accepting that maybe the promise wasn't for you. But here I am, proving to you that what I promised still stands. And more, that you are exactly where you should be. Because it's not too late. It is never too late when it is in my time. You are not hearing this by mistake. This is the voice you needed. This is the hand you silently asked for. This is the beginning of the change you have prayed for without words. So don't go out. Don't jump. Don't ignore it. There is something being activated now. Something the natural world cannot explain. A movement in the invisible that begins when you believe and remains. It's not happening tomorrow, it's starting now. This video is your milestone. This word is your seal. This presence is your guarantee. If you feel that this word was written for you, write in the comments with faith, I know that God is speaking to me. It's not just a comment. It is a public covenant between you and that which heaven has begun to release. It's like saying, I receive, I believe, I remain. You've arrived, finally. He arrived with doubts, but also with courage. He arrived tired, but still with hope. He arrived questioning, but still willing to listen. And that is enough for me to act. You don't need to understand everything. You just need to keep going. Because what comes after this is bigger than you asked for. It remains. Because the next step of your promise is about to be revealed. And I still have a lot to tell you. You tried to be strong. He tried to keep his face calm, he tried to go through the day as if everything was fine, even when inside his world was collapsing. He swallowed his tears in silence, he clenched his fists trying to contain the pain, he closed the bedroom door so no one would see you break. And even when everyone thought you were standing firm, I knew your insides were crying out for help. I saw the moment you lay in the dark and thought no one cared. I saw when you sighed deeply and said to yourself, just one more day, just a little more. I saw the effort that no one appreciated. I saw how much you hid to not worry anyone. You didn't go unnoticed. You gave yourself, even when you didn't have the strength. He helped, even when he needed help. He smiled, even when he wanted to disappear. And when no one else was looking, when everything was silent, there I was, watching every gesture, holding every tear, listening to every prayer that came out like a whisper. You have no idea how much you touched my heart. Because I'm not impressed by performance, by appearance, by human achievements. I care about what's inside. And what was inside you was sincerity, dedication, perseverance. You were faithful even in pain. He was generous even in times of scarcity. And that, son, is rare. It's precious. The pain you tried to hide was not invisible to me. I saw you trying to look good while everything inside you said otherwise. I saw you getting out of bed with difficulty, facing your commitments, pretending to be light so as not to weigh down the environment anymore. I saw when you remained silent to avoid arguments, when you chose silence to protect those you love, even when you are in pieces. And in each of these situations, I was there, collecting your tears like seeds. Because in heaven, pain with purpose is not punishment. It's preparation. You thought no one saw when you chose to be good, even though you were tired. When you chose to trust, even without signs. When you decided to stay, even though you didn't understand. But I saw it. And I wrote it down. Your every gesture was noted in heaven as a record of fidelity. And today, I come to remind you, heaven does not forget. The heavens never ignore a sincere soul. And now, the time for activation has arrived. You will begin to realize that what seemed meaningless was, in fact, a preparation ground. I allowed silence so you could learn to listen to me. I allowed the pain so you could learn to trust. Allow scarcity so that you would know who your source is. I saw when you resigned. When he gave up something he loved for the love of obedience. When you chose not to take revenge, when you preferred to remain silent and leave it in my hands. I saw. And the world may not have seen, may not have rewarded you, but I will. And it won't be in secret. It will be visible. It will be indisputable. It will be so clear that even those who doubted you will recognize that it was I who acted. Because it is not about human compensation, but about divine justice. You arrived here tired, but not corrupted. Hurt, but still believing. Frustrated, but not defeated. And that's what sets you apart. This is what opens doors in heaven. Your faith, even small, even wounded, is still alive. And it is with this faith that I will build something new. The reward that is coming is not just financial. It's emotional, spiritual, relational. Because I don't just heal bills, I heal hearts. I don't just open doors, I restore identities. And you are about to experience it. Not for merit, but for permanence. If you feel like this word could reach someone who is on the verge of giving up, share it. Don't ignore this impulse that is in your heart. It may seem like just another video, but for someone, it could be exactly what stops an emotional breakdown. You can be the channel through which heaven reaches another life. Sharing this message is multiplying hope. It's allowing the light that reached you now to invade other hearts too. Stay strong. Because this pain that you faced in silence will not be remembered as a failure, but as a milestone of transformation. I still have more to reveal to you. And in the next step of this word, I will show you how what seemed like the end was just the beginning of the new thing I prepared for you. Don't stop now. The best is still being released. Have you been looking around and wondering, when will it be my turn? You've seen doors open for others, you've heard testimonies, you've celebrated other people's achievements with sincerity, but deep down, you wondered when your answer would arrive. And today I come to tell you, it is already coming. While you wait, I work. As you pray, I move. While you wonder if there is still hope, I am already building paths where before there were only impossibilities. Nothing you did with faith went unnoticed. No prayer fell into vain. No resignation was ignored. And now, I am releasing what was held back. Not by chance, but by time. Because now is the time. Maybe you still look at the bill and see zeros. Maybe the debts are still there. Maybe the bank still sends chest-tightening notifications. But listen, what I am releasing into your life does not start with the bill, it starts in heaven. And when the sky releases, the earth responds. I'm touching people, systems, situations that seemed immobile. I am inspiring decisions, opening doors, promoting meetings, breaking barriers. There is provision being moved in your favor. And that's not luck, it's divine intervention. You will see signs in the coming days. A call that changes a scenario. An unexpected debt cancellation. A proposal that was not in the plan. A deposit that you did not ask for, but you will recognize that I sent it. Because when I move, I don't need human logic. I use the unlikely to manifest my faithfulness. And what you are about to experience will not be a temporary improvement, it will be a profound transformation. Because I didn't come to teach you how to survive, I came to teach you how to prosper. And prosperity, for me, is not just money. It's peace in the soul, it's rest in the mind, it's joy in the heart. You are no longer stuck in the time of scarcity. You are crossing the threshold of a new season. But to do this, you need to do something important, align your expectations with my promise. Stop looking back, stop comparing, stop doubting. I'm not just delivering resources, I'm delivering destiny. I'm positioning you in places you couldn't go before. I'm preparing you to sustain what I'm going to put in your hands. Because this blessing will not be ordinary. It will be abundant. It will be stable. It will be lasting. And most importantly, it will be with purpose. All this is not magic, it is harvest. You sowed with tears, and now you reap with joy. You believed when no one else believed. You stayed when everything said to give up. You insisted on prayer when your voice was already choked. And this is what activates the sky. I move by faith, not despair. And your faith, even hurt, even in silence, was still alive. And because it was alive, I am releasing it. If you feel that this promise is for you, enjoy this video with faith and subscribe to this channel. This is not just a digital gesture, it is a way of saying, I receive, I believe, I remain connected to this voice that strengthens me. It is your visible positioning in the face of an invisible movement. It's like marking spiritual territory, saying to the sky, I'm here, I'm listening, I'm ready. But understand, what is being activated now is just the beginning. This provision that is on the way is a sign of what is yet to come. I'm not just responding to a need, I'm opening a source. I don't just send one-off responses, I create supply streams that sustain. And that's the difference. It won't be something that comes and goes. It will be something that remains. Because when I am the one who plants, no one can uproot. You will see doors opening, ideas emerging, partnerships being formed, but most of all, you will feel something inside you shift. A relief. A rest. A renewal. Because when my hand reaches out, it doesn't just touch the outside, it transforms the inside. That's why I'm telling you, don't stop. What I'm telling you now connects with what I'm still going to reveal. This word does not end here. It's just the beginning of a new story. Stay with me, because I still have more to show you. Not everyone saw what you did. Not everyone knew about the renunciations, the secret fasts, the whispered prayers in the middle of the night. Not everyone understood the moments when you preferred to remain silent so as not to hurt anyone, or the days when you held back your own tears just to not appear weak. But I saw it. I saw when you chose to keep believing, even when everything seemed to scream otherwise. I saw you keep your faith alive even without having any evidence that anything was changing. That, son, is worth more than any applause, any achievement or human recognition. Because faith that is kept in silence has eternal value. While many labeled you by your appearance, I saw your heart. While they judged your attitudes, I understood your intentions. While the world demanded results from you, I welcomed your effort in not giving up. You blamed yourself for weaknesses that I had already forgiven. He carried weights that I never asked for. You tried to explain yourself to those who were never willing to understand you. But all of heaven knew the truth you carried. And that is why today I honor you, not for having won all the battles, but for choosing to remain, even when injured. You can't imagine how fondly he was observed. Each time you decided to trust me more than your emotions, each time you chose to worship me even without feeling anything, each time you, despite being disappointed, still prayed saying, I trust, all of this rose like pleasant incense before me. And now the time has come when what was built in secret will be honored in public. I am the God who transforms invisible seeds into visible harvests. And your most powerful seed was the faith that did not give up. You thought you were standing still, but you were being built up. He thought he wasn't growing, but he was putting down roots. The silence that surrounded you was not absence, it was process. The time when it seemed like I was unresponsive was actually the time when I worked the hardest. Because while you waited, I shaped. While you cried, I prepared. While you wondered until when, I drew the right path. And today, I tell you with love and firmness, none of these moments were wasted. You will start to realize how much you have grown. You will look back and understand that what seemed like stagnation was, in fact, maturity. You have learned to discern voices. You learned to depend on me and not on others. He learned to be silent without feeling forgotten. He learned to live with little without feeling smaller. And this is all part of building the promise. Because the blessing that is on its way cannot be sustained by someone who lives on applause. It can only be entrusted to those who have passed the secret. It's not the size of your faith that impresses heaven. It's her depth. And your faith, even small, was true. Even though it was shaky, it was constant. Even without support, she was sincere. And this is what moves my hand. What you are about to experience does not come from merit, it comes from permanence. Many started stronger than you, but stopped halfway. You may have started small but chose not to back down. And that is why I chose to reward you. The time of silence was not wasted time. It was a time of foundation. Now, the house will begin to be built on the foundation of the faith you demonstrated when no one was watching. Others will see the fruits, but I saw the planting. Others will celebrate the victory, but I was present during the war. So get ready. Because what seemed hidden will be revealed. What you lived in silence will be honored with noise. And anyone who doubted will have to admit, it was God who did it. And you did it because of your faithfulness at a time when everyone thought you were alone. How many times have you thought you couldn't stand another day? How many times did you close your eyes tightly, trying to contain the despair that was growing inside? No one knew about the internal struggles, the silent screams, the weight that seemed to never end. But I am God, and I have seen. I saw when you tried to be strong, but inside you were begging for help. I saw when fear paralyzed you, when thought said it was the end, when everything seemed too dark to believe that a new day would come. And yet, you followed. One step at a time, a prayer even without words, a sigh in the midst of anguish. And that, son, that's worth gold in heaven. You believed when no one else believed in you. He continued praying when hope already seemed lost. He made promises even without seeing a response, and even though he was tired, he thanked them. And today I come to tell you, none of this has been forgotten. Nothing was lost in the void. No tears were in vain. No sigh of faith went unnoticed. All of this was recorded. Every gesture, every choice to trust, every decision not to abandon faith was stored as a living seed before me. And now, I am activating the harvest. You are not just receiving comfort. You are receiving a refund. I'm not giving you back what you lost in the same way it was taken. I am adding interest in honor, glory, and spiritual authority. Because whoever passes through the valley and doesn't give up, comes back with full hands and a healed heart. You were broken into many pieces, but you did not lose your essence. He was betrayed, forgotten, underestimated, but he never stopped seeking me. You resisted what many could not. And that's why now, the sky moves for you. The pain you felt will be the stage for your testimony. What today seems like just suffering will become the story that others will listen to so they don't give up. Because I will transform your wounds into words that heal. I will use your vulnerability as a bridge to lift others up. I will transform the ground where you fell into the step that lifts you up. Nothing will be wasted. Nothing will be in vain. I am the God who turns crying into laughter, loss into gain, silence into honor. You will see the turnaround with your own eyes. People who saw you go down will watch you go up. And it will not be to exalt you, but to glorify my name. Because whoever honors me in secret, I honor in public. You won't have to defend yourself, explain yourself, or justify yourself. I myself will make a point of showing that I was with you the whole time. I myself will be your defense. And whoever judged you will recognize, it was God. If this word confirms something you experienced, write in the comments with faith, 7777. This is more than a number. It is a spiritual statement. It's like opening the door to heaven with your own fingers and saying, I recognize, I receive, I declare that my pain will become testimony. Writing this is activating what is being released. It is responding to the call with faith. It is to record, I continue to believe. Son, everything you went through wasn't a sign of abandonment, it was training. I have allowed certain doors to close so that you can learn to trust me more than circumstances. I let some people leave because they wouldn't be part of your new phase. I allowed you to cry, not because I liked your pain, but because I knew what it was building inside you. And now, that your faith has matured, that your vision has been adjusted, that your soul has understood that I am enough, now the reward begins. The harvest is not just material. It's spiritual. It's emotional. It's deep. You will feel the taste of a fresh start. You will take a deep breath and realize, the pain has passed, but the lesson remains. You will smile without guilt, you will live without fear, you will love without reservations. Because the one who heals the heart is the same one who provides at the table. And your heart is being restored. Because before filling your pockets, I came to fill your soul. The next step is coming, and it will surprise you. Stay with me. There is still more to reveal. You cried for doors that didn't open. He was saddened by proposals that didn't work out, by people who promised to stay and left, by opportunities that seemed perfect but suddenly fell apart. You blamed yourself, thought that you had done something wrong, that maybe you didn't have enough faith, or that there was something in you that stopped everything from going right. But today, I come to free you from this weight. It wasn't rejection. It was protection. What you saw as a painful no, I wrote as a necessary detour. Because what seemed good in your eyes, I already knew was full of traps. You don't know what I saw up front. He doesn't know about the abysses that were disguised as gifts. He doesn't know about the hidden intentions, the risks that his soul was not yet ready to face. But I saw it. And out of love, I closed some doors that you wanted so much. Out of caution, I moved people away who were too close. Out of zeal, I interrupted processes that seemed promising. And yes, it hurt. But what hurt you actually saved you. You were not punished. It was protected. And today, if you could see with my eyes, you would be grateful for every no I gave you. You prayed sincerely. He asked for things with a pure heart. He made honest plans. But I am not a wish fulfiller. I am a father. And a father does not deliver everything his son asks for. Father delivers what he knows will build, strengthen, mature. And what you asked for at that stage, if it had been answered, would have taken you away from what I am preparing you to live today. I know there was frustration, tears, nights without answers. I've been there for each one. And even in silence, I took care. And even in silence, I kept it. Now you understand better. Now you look back and realize, what seemed like loss was deliverance. What seemed like delay was preservation. What seemed like abandonment was strategy. I didn't do you wrong. And you didn't fail either. You just trusted me. And that trust, even in the midst of pain, is what paved the way for the yes I am about to release. A yes that doesn't come with doubts, that doesn't carry fear, that doesn't require effort. A yes that brings peace, that flows lightly, that carries purpose and fullness. You no longer need to carry the marks of what didn't happen. You no longer need to feel insufficient because of something that didn't work out. Today I give you relief. Today I tell you, it was necessary. Every detour, every pause, every silence. Because it was shaping you. It was adjusting your vision, healing your heart, aligning your spirit. I don't want to give you something that you don't have the structure to support. That's why, before releasing the promise, I worked on you. And now that your soul has been aligned, the sky opens over your life. If this word spoke to you, share it with someone who also needs to understand that God's no is care. You don't know how many people are blaming themselves, thinking they have been forgotten, when in fact they are being protected. Send this message as an act of love. Because what sets you free now may be the answer someone is silently begging to receive. Sharing is spreading healing. It's being a bridge between heaven and those who are still in the valley. Son, your time for carrying guilt ends today. What you've been through doesn't define who you are. What hasn't happened doesn't cancel out what's to come. You were not left aside. You were saved for the best. And that best is already on the way. When it arrives, you will remember all this and you will understand, it was worth the wait. Because nothing, absolutely nothing, compares to what I have prepared for those who trust. And you trusted. Even without understanding, you remained. So now is the time to receive. Stay tuned, because the next step is closer than you think. And I still have more to reveal to you. Son, what I prepared for you is not crumbs. It is not a temporary favor, it is not temporary help, it is not momentary relief. What I am releasing into your life is inheritance. It's right. It's a response to what you've experienced, yes, but it's more than that, it's identity. Because you are not before a God who gives the minimum to keep you standing. You are before a Father who has decided to honor you abundantly. And abundance, in my kingdom, is not about accumulation, it is about purpose. It's about having enough to fulfill what was assigned, it's about overflowing to reach others. You were not born to beg for blessings. You were born to inherit promises. For a long time, you were conditioned to believe that provision was something that came from outside, from someone, from a human source, from unexpected luck. But I am your source. And what comes from me does not depend on the system, does not depend on the salary, does not depend on who wants or can help you. What I have released into your life is supernatural. Because I was the one who saw when you gave even without having. It was I who observed when you gave up what you needed to bless someone. It was I who recorded every act of generosity that no one saw. And today I tell you, I pay with justice, with honor, with glory. You are not waiting for charity, you are waiting for the fulfillment of a promise. And this promise does not come as a response to an isolated cry, but as a harvest of a life of faith. You trusted when nothing made sense. You delivered when you lacked everything. You stayed when everyone said it was better to give up. And now, you start to reap the harvest of the faithful, of the constant, of those who decide to believe even when the ground seems to give way. And she won't be discreet. It will be visible. It will be strong. It will be indisputable. Because when I start to move, the world watches. And understand one thing, I don't hand over something so big to those who still think of themselves as slaves. That's why I took you through this process. To shape your mind. To cure your vision. To teach that it's not about what you can achieve with your own effort, but about what you can receive with a positioned heart. I didn't form you to survive on sporadic miracles. I formed you to live under a continuous promise. To be a channel, column, testimony. What I'm about to pour out isn't just a bill, it's a new spiritual structure. It's a different mentality. It is a life of alliance with me. You prayed saying, Lord, I just need a sign. And today I answer you, the signal is not just coming, it has already begun. In the small changes around. In unexpected responses. In connections that arise out of nowhere. In the new thoughts you have had, in the dreams that have appeared again. This is all me, activating within you the certainty that it has already begun. The supply will not just arrive, it will remain. Because when I'm the one who delivers, no one takes it away. If this word confirms what your spirit was already feeling, like this video now and subscribe to the channel. This gesture is simple, but it carries a powerful statement. It's like saying, I recognize that I am a son, I recognize that I am an heir, I receive what heaven is releasing upon me. When you connect with that voice, something starts to move towards you too. And that step of faith activates more than you realize. Remember, heirs don't keep asking, they keep waiting with confidence. Children don't ask for crumbs, they live as if they already know they have a place at the table. And you, son, have a seat at the table. I have prepared this station in detail for you. And everything you've experienced up until now hasn't been in vain. The wait will be worth it. Scarcity will give way to abundance. The pain will become a reminder of a time that is behind us. Because the new is beginning, and this new is loaded with meaning. You are not just changing phases. He's changing his identity. From someone who asked, to someone who manages. From someone who fought for every penny, to someone who thrives with purpose. And all this happens now, as you listen. Because this word is not a prediction, it is an activation. As you believe, I act. As you receive, I move. As you remain, I pour out. There's still more coming. And what comes will come like heavy rain, fast, intense, unexpected. You will be surprised. And there will be no doubt, it was I, your father, who did all this out of love for you. Stay tuned. The sky will still continue speaking. Son, everything you've experienced up until now has had a greater purpose. Don't think that the days of scarcity, the difficult phases, the moments of loneliness and struggle were punishment. They were preparing. I don't waste processes. Every tear you shed, every no you received, every door that closed, it was all part of your training. Because what I'm about to place in your hands is too big to be handed over to those who still think of themselves as slaves. You needed to learn to manage a little wisely before inheriting a lot responsibly. Just as I did with Jose, I allowed you to go through seasons of silence and forgetfulness. He was sold, he was betrayed, he was thrown into places he didn't deserve. But at each stage, I was forging in him the heart of a governor. The palace is not given to those who only dream, but to those who are polished in anonymity. And with you, son, it was no different. I saw you at rock bottom, and still you didn't lose hope. I saw you being wronged, and yet choosing not to take revenge. I saw you passing through closed doors, but still worshiping me. All of this is forming you. It's aligning you. It's making you fit for what's to come. I know there are times when you don't understand why certain things took time. Why did you have to wait so long? Why did it seem like the others were moving forward while you remained still? But now you begin to understand, while everyone was running after things, I was preparing you to sustain that which is eternal. Your process was not in vain. Your emotional prison, your days without answers, all of this taught you what no blessing could teach you, to trust in me, and not in the circumstances. You learned to cook with little. He learned to be grateful for the basics. You learned to discern who was real and who was only around because of what you had. You have grown up. Has matured. It changed the way of thinking, feeling, dreaming. And this is all part of the new version that I am raising. Because now that you are being healed on the inside, I can release what was held on the outside. I do not deliver promises to hearts that do not know how to value them. Therefore, before blessing you with abundance, I needed to strengthen you in scarcity. You know what it's like to have sleepless nights because of bills. You know what it's like to give up something you wanted to provide for someone. You know what it's like to smile so as not to scare those around you. And because you know, you are now ready to manage with compassion, with wisdom, with balance. I'm not just trying to give you something. I'm wanting to make someone out of you. Someone who carries purpose. Someone who inspires others. Someone who doesn't get lost in what they receive, but grows with what they learn. Everything you faced served to position you. To create a base. To give structure. Because what I am preparing is not just a blessing. It's legacy. It's continuity. And those who live on appearance cannot sustain a legacy. That's why I allowed you to pass through the desert. Because the desert is not a place of death, it is a place of preparation. It was there that I removed the excess. That I healed the wounds. That I broke the attachments. That I made you see clearly who I am and who you are in me. Now that you know what really matters, now that you know the value of faith, perseverance, humility, I can trust you more. Not because you are perfect, but because you have been proven. And whoever is proven becomes trustworthy. The abundance that I will pour out will not be a burden, it will be light. Because now you have the right heart. The right mind. And the sensitive spirit to hear my voice even in the midst of abundance. Son, you were prepared for this. Each step has brought you here. And what previously seemed like a delay, today reveals itself as a strategy. You have not been forgotten. He was trained. And the time is coming to apply everything you've learned. Heaven is about to release something that could only be given to someone like you, someone who, even in the midst of pain, chose to continue listening to me. Stay tuned. The next part is already in motion. And it will be the beginning of a harvest with an eternal purpose. You are not what you lack. You are not the late bill, the overdue bill, the daily charge that tries to steal your peace. You are not the number on the statement, nor the absence of it. You are not debt. You are promise. You are a divine plan in motion. What weighs on your shoulders today did not come to define you, it came to prepare you. Because what the enemy tried to use to imprison you emotionally, I have already started using as a key to release. Debt is not the end of you. It is just the setting where I will manifest my glory. For a long time you looked in the mirror and felt smaller because you weren't able to achieve everything you wanted. He blamed himself for not being able to handle it. He blamed himself for not having achieved his objectives. But I don't look at you through the eyes of the system. I don't evaluate you based on financial results. I look at your heart. And your heart was always generous, even in scarcity. He was always willing, even without conditions. He was always faithful, even without understanding. And that is what moves my heart. Silent faith, constant love, true surrender. Now, I will show you that your story will not be marked by lack, but by overcoming. You were born to live in freedom. And not just emotional or spiritual freedom, financial freedom as well. Because I am a complete Father. I didn't just come to heal your soul, I also want to restore your structure. I want you to live lightly, with honor, with dignity. I want you to look at your house and breathe a sigh of relief. May you open the refrigerator and not worry. May you walk without the burden of pressure, without the fear of tomorrow, without the despair of not knowing what it will be like. Because when I am your source, the flow does not dry out, it only increases. The enemy tried to make you believe that living in debt was your destiny. He tried to convince you that he would always be limited, that he would never leave this phase. But he is a liar. And today I rip that lie out of your heart. You were not called to survive. You were chosen to prosper. And thriving is not just about having money. It's having peace with what you have. It's sleeping in peace. It's living with joy. It's about having enough to fulfill your purpose and still bless others along the way. And this has already started to be released into your life. It all starts with faith. Not with number. With faith. Because faith is what activates the movement of heaven. And your faith, even tired, even small, even tried, is still alive. And because you are alive, I am responding. You will see doors opening where there was no wall. You will see resources emerging from places you never imagined. You will see creative ideas, unexpected provisions, strategies that seem simple but will carry my favor. For what I will do will not come from the strength of your arm, but from the abundance of my hand. If this word touched your heart, enjoy this video with faith. This is more than a click, it's a positioning. It's you saying, I believe, I receive, I change my identity today. Because when you react with faith, you align yourself with what heaven is already moving. It's not about emotion, it's about decision. And deciding to believe is the first step to living what I have prepared. Son, you were not created to live limited. What I am preparing for you will not just be enough. There will be plenty. And there won't be any room for ostentation. There will be plenty to overflow. To achieve. To bless. Because the promise is not just yours, it passes through you, but it reaches others. You will be the answer. You will be a witness. You will be channel. Debt no longer holds you back. Shame no longer defines you. Anxiety will no longer have dominion over your thoughts. Now, a new cycle begins. A cycle where your identity is restored. Where your head rises again. Where you stop looking down and start looking up. Because your provision comes from above. And your honor comes from above. Stay strong, because in the next step, I'll show you what's behind this turnaround that has already started to happen. You will still be surprised. And it won't be little. It will be a lot. It will be visible. It will be divine. Do you remember that day when, in the midst of pain, you prayed saying, Lord, if one day you bless me, I will not forget you? I heard. And not only did I listen, I kept those words. Because unlike men, I don't forget promises made in tears. And now, I come to tell you, I am answering that prayer. The provision you asked for is coming, but it carries something even greater, a purpose. I'm not just opening doors for you to feel relieved. I'm opening doors to make you a channel. A multiplication instrument. Someone who no longer lives in fear of lack, but with the awareness that he was called to overflow. You won't just be supplied. You will be sent. Because whoever is healed in scarcity begins to have compassion for those who still live in it. Anyone who has felt the weight of not having it, knows exactly how to lighten someone else's burden. And that's why I chose you. Because you didn't harden your heart. You didn't rebel, even though you had reasons. You didn't close your soul to other people's pain. And now, I can trust more. Because whoever is generous in little will be fair in much. The abundance that is coming is not to inflate the ego. It's to fulfill a mission. It's about reaching lives. It's to open paths. You will be the answer to prayers you don't even know. You will be an instrument in hands that you never imagined playing. You will reach out to those who today may not even know you exist. And this will happen naturally, because I myself will direct each movement. I will put people in your path. I will awaken ideas in your heart. I will breathe directions into your spirit. Because what begins as an individual miracle turns into a collective mission. The blessing that I am releasing upon your home will be too big to fit only in you. You said you wouldn't forget. And I know it won't. Because I saw your heart on the day of pain. I saw your sincere intention. I saw your willingness to be used, even when you lacked everything. And so, now I lift you up as a living testimony that I still perform miracles. That I still thrive with purpose. That I still lift the unlikely to do great things. You were not chosen by chance. It was prepared in detail. Every struggle you faced, every lesson you learned, every pain you endured equipped you for this new time. If this word spoke to you, share it with someone who needs to understand that God's prosperity is a mission, not ostentation. There are people around you waiting for a sign, waiting for an answer, waiting for direction. And that word could be the touch that will ignite hope again in a tired heart. Sharing is part of the promise. It is being a bridge so that others can also experience this awakening. Son, your harvest will be abundant. But what will differentiate you will not be how much you have, but rather how much you share. How much you understand that it's not about status, it's about destiny. It's not about showing, it's about serving. It's not about having a lot, it's about using it well. And this is already being activated in you. You will begin to feel a new spiritual sensitivity. You will understand where there is pain, where there is need, where there is opportunity. And it will act. It will flow. Will deliver. Not afraid of missing, but sure that the source never runs dry. What I have prepared for your life is not little. But it's not just for you. It's through you. Therefore, do not be surprised by the doors that I will open. They are not just rewards. These are commissions. They put you in a position to bless, to alleviate, to direct. And while you take care of others, I take care of everything that is yours. That's the key. That's the secret. Whoever lives for heaven will never lack on earth. Stay with me. The next step will show you what happens when the mission meets the promise. And you're about to experience exactly that. Nothing that happened in your life took me by surprise. No unexpected bill, no unforeseen expense, no urgent need arrived without me already knowing. Before you even noticed the problem, I was already moving the solution. Because I am not a God who reacts, I am a Father who anticipates. I see what you haven't seen yet. I prepare it before it's missing. I activate it before it hurts. It was like this with Elijah, when I ordered the ravens to feed him. He didn't need to chase the supply found him. And that's what I'm doing to you now. Activating resources that have already been released, but can only be accessed by faith. Have you ever wondered why some things didn't work out, why certain opportunities flashed before your eyes and didn't come to fruition? And I tell you, many of them were disguised provisions that fear did not let you grab. Others were right doors, but you weren't ready yet. And in all of them, I was. I saw your intention, I saw your doubt, I saw your sincere desire to get it right. And today, I come to teach you something new. Faith does not wait to see to believe. Faith positions itself before manifestation. Faith recognizes that if I promised, then it is already done, even if the eyes cannot yet see. Son, heaven has already released what you need. But you need to align your vision to recognize it when it arrives. I send in unexpected ways. Sometimes the answer comes as a simple conversation, an idea that seems small, a person that appears suddenly, an invitation that seems casual. But in the invisible, it is the sky in motion. And if you're sensitive, you'll notice. Because the provision that comes from me carries peace, carries direction, carries firmness. It doesn't cause confusion. It doesn't generate fear. And if you're connected with me, you'll know, that's it. And now, it's here. Anxiety has been trying to steal your perception. You look at the bill and see it empty. Look at the papers and see debt. You look at the calendar and feel urgency. But I want you to look up and see provision. See my care. See my faithfulness. Because whoever seeks me never goes without an answer. Whoever puts me first never finishes last. I am your source. And the fountain never dries up. I am your livelihood. And sustenance doesn't fail. I am the one who prepares the table in the desert, who makes water come out of the rock, who multiplies the little until there is more. You are entering a time where your faith will be the key that opens doors that have been locked for years. And it won't be through effort, it will be through positioning. It will not be by your strength, it will be by your obedience. It won't be for your connections, it will be for your surrender. The more you trust, the more I will show. The more you rest in me, the faster the answers will come. Because I honor those who decide to trust until the end. If this word is making you stronger, subscribe to this channel now. Because what I'm releasing doesn't stop here. There are still more revelations, more activations, more directions that I will give you. And when you connect with that voice, you connect with the movement of the sky. It's not just another content. It's an altar. It is a bridge between what you live and what I am preparing for you to live. You are not alone. And it never was. Even when you thought everything was still, I was acting silently. Because often, before the miracle manifests, I work on the foundation. Before opening the door, I teach you how to walk. Before releasing the resource, I strengthen your confidence. And now, that your faith has matured, that your heart has aligned, I begin to release with more intensity. The supply is already on the way. The favor is now released. And in the coming days, you will realize this clearly. What seemed impossible before will begin to make sense. And you will know, it was faith that unlocked heaven. Stay with me. The next step will surprise you. You thought the shortage would end when the money arrived. He thought that everything would change the day the door opened, when the answer came, when the transfer hit the account. But today I tell you, scarcity ends when you understand who its source is. Because real change doesn't start in your pocket. It starts in the mind. It starts in the spirit. It starts when you stop chasing the resource and start walking with the provider. As long as your hope is linked to the system, to the strength of your arm, to what others can do for you, there will be anxiety, comparison, frustration. But when you rest in me, everything changes. Not outside, but inside. Son, the well has not dried up. You were just looking at the bucket. The source was never the job, it was never the relative who helped, it was never the client who paid, nor the salary that came in. The source is me. And I do not fail. I don't delay. I don't depend on the calendar. I don't need anyone's permission to honor you. As long as you worry about what's missing, you won't be able to see what's already coming. Because anxiety is like a blindfold. It makes you run from side to side trying to solve what I'm already working on in silence. You are not called to live in fear. He was not created to live counting coins. He was not chosen to live waiting for a miracle a day. You were formed to live under the promise. To walk in peace, to live with dignity, to rest knowing that your tomorrow is already being taken care of today. I am not God of last minute. I am God on purpose. And when you align with that purpose, heaven aligns with you. Your financial change begins with your spiritual identity. Because whoever knows he is a son does not live like a servant. Whoever understands that he has an inheritance does not live like a beggar. And you, son, need to remember who you are. I didn't call you to survive. I called to multiply. I did not call to accumulate for fear of lack, but to share wisely. Because scarcity doesn't end when you have too much. It ends when you learn to trust even with little. When you learn to say, I know who supports me, and that is enough. There is a relief being released over your mind now. A renewal of your vision. Because you need to stop looking at the ground and start looking up. I am your refuge. I am your strong tower. I am the one who holds you upright. You are not being supported by circumstances. It is being sustained by a God who does not sleep, does not fail and does not change. While everyone judged you for what you lacked, I saw you for what remained, your faith. And it is because of this faith that everything begins to transform. The scarcity that surrounded you on the outside was just a reflection of the insecurity that still lived inside. And now, I am breaking this cycle. I am uprooting every root of spiritual orphanhood from your mind. Every limiting belief that said, you will never get out of this, it will always be like this is all you can live with. Lies. Words thrown to trap you in a place where I never put you. Today, with the authority of heaven, I declare, you are free from this. Free from the mentality of misery. Free from the fear of lack. Free from the comparison that makes you sick. Now a new season begins. Not because everything was resolved on the outside, but because something was unlocked on the inside. And that changes everything. Change how you pray. Change how you dream. Change how you walk. Because you understood, the source is not earthly. The source is eternal. And as long as you are connected to that source, you will never lack. It may not come as you imagine. It may not arrive the way you expect. But it will come. It will always come. Because I am faithful. Because I am Father. Because I am your source. And that is more than enough. Stay tuned, because what you thought you needed will start to come in ways you never imagined. But before that, I needed to change your insides. And now that you understand who supports you, I can release what was held back. The next step is closer than you think. You just have to keep listening. There is still more that I want to reveal to you. You have been trained for this moment. Yes, trained. Even without realizing it, even though I thought I was standing still, even on days when everything seemed stagnant, I was preparing you. Every tear that fell, every prayer said in the dark, every amen whispered in the midst of exhaustion, everything was part of an invisible but necessary process. You thought you weren't ready, that you didn't have enough, that you weren't capable, but heaven saw it differently. Because while the world measures capabilities, I analyze hearts. And your heart was shaped in the fire of pain, in the chamber of silence, in the school of waiting. Now you understand, it wasn't late. It was training. You didn't get here by chance. It arrived because it resisted. It arrived because you chose to trust even without seeing it. He arrived because he preferred to continue with me even when everything screamed that it was no longer worth it. And now that your interior has been polished, I tell you, the time for yes has arrived. Not just any yes, but the definitive yes. The release that unlocks areas that have been stuck for years. The answer that will make you breathe a sigh of relief. The sign that the waiting cycle has finally come to an end and the harvest cycle has begun. You can't imagine how much this time was observed from the sky. I saw you every moment you thought about stopping. I saw when everything seemed to push you away. I saw the doors close, one after the other, and yet you continued praying. I saw when you said, "It hurts, but I trust." And that phrase was a cry of faith that moved angels. It was this resistance, this decision to continue believing, that activated what is being released now. Because I am not moved by despair, I am moved by faith. And your faith, even shaky, was real. I didn't form you to survive. I trained you to govern. To lead. To take care of what comes with responsibility and maturity. And that's why I didn't release it sooner. Because what I'm about to place in your hands isn't just an answer, it's a legacy. Something that will remain. Something that will bless not just you, but everyone around you. You will live the promise, but with structure. Wisely. With balance. Because now, you are ready. And I know that your heart still carries fears. I know that, after so many frustrations, part of you is afraid to believe. Part of you is afraid to dream big and be disappointed again. But today I tell you, do not fear. It won't be like before. It won't come in half. It won't arrive and then escape. What I'm about to do will be solid. And you will know without a doubt that it was me. Because this time, it will not be an unstable blessing, it will be a stable season. A time of emotional, spiritual, relational and even financial stability. A season of reconstruction and advancement. If you feel that this word was released directly to you, right now in the comments with faith, I am ready to live God's yes. This act is not just a digital gesture. It is a prophetic milestone. It's like drawing in the sky your agreement with what I have already determined. It's you saying, Lord, I receive. I'm ready. Here I am. And when you declare with faith, you move the spiritual world. Write with conviction, because there is something powerful being released into your life right now. Son, you went through the most difficult phases and remained standing. They called you a dreamer, exaggerated, deluded, but you remained. And today, heaven calls you approved. From trustworthy. Right away. Your yes is closer than you think. And it will be so clear, so accurate, so surprising, that you will have no doubt, it is God. It's the fulfillment. It's the answer. It's the honor after the process. Stay with me, because I still have more to reveal. The next step will be the confirmation of what you have been waiting for so long. It's already coming. It's already started. And you will testify. Have you ever been so disappointed that you started to doubt even what seems good? You have suffered from so many broken promises, empty words, and false doors that you now carry a silent fear in your heart. What if it is not from God? What if it's another trap? What if I get hurt again? And today I come with love to tell you, what I am preparing for you will not bring confusion. It will not come with uncertainty. It will not leave your soul restless. When it arrives, you will know. Because it will carry peace, it will carry honor, it will carry purpose. And there will be no more room for doubt. It will be clear. It will be clean. It will be me. True blessing does not come with noise, it comes with relief. It doesn't arrive requiring desperate effort, it arrives flowing. And this is how I act. I don't deliver to overload, I deliver to complete. To restore. To confirm what was already written in your spirit. And what's coming now, son, is unlike anything you've ever experienced. Because now it's no longer you trying to make it happen. Now it's me giving you what I prepared while you were being stoned. You won't need to force anything. You won't need to chase anyone. You won't need to prove your worth, explain yourself, wear yourself out. The blessing that I send comes with a seal of authenticity. Comes with spiritual direction. And more than that, it comes with peace. A peace that cannot be explained, that invades, that establishes. You will look at what is coming and there will be no doubt. Because it will be different. Because it will be whole. Because it will be at the right time, in the right way, with the right people. It won't be pushed, it will fit. It will not be assembled in a hurry, it will be molded with detail. And I know that part of you still resists. Part of you wants to believe, but you're afraid of getting hurt again. Part of you wants to open your arms, but you carry memories of reaching out and receiving emptiness. But today, I break this cycle. Today, I cleanse your heart of this fear of repeating stories. Because what comes now is not repetition, it is redemption. It's not a return to what has happened, it's access to what has never been experienced before. And you will feel it. Because the Spirit testifies. Because your soul will calm down. Because your feet will not waver. I am a God of signs. And the signs will accompany you. Little touches, subtle confirmations, words that fit together precisely, doors that open without pushing. And you will remember this word. You'll remember what you're hearing now. Because when it arrives, it will be as if everything makes sense. The waiting time. The process. The silence. The pain. The patience. Everything will align. Everything will point to one place, the center of my will. And that's where the promise effortlessly blossoms. Because the environment of the promise is obedience. And you obeyed. If that word spoke to you, enjoy this video as an act of faith. It's not just a reaction, it's a spiritual positioning. It is a way of saying, Lord, I believe, and I am ready to receive what is yours, without fear, without resistance, with peace. This simple gesture carries something bigger than it seems. Because when you respond in faith, heaven responds in movement. And everything starts to flow more clearly. Son, when the answer comes, you won't need to ask if it was me. You will know. Because it will come with a divine signature. Lightly. With honor. Truly. It will make your heart rest. It will confirm everything I have already prophesied about your life. And you will understand, it was worth the wait. It was worth trusting. Because now it has arrived. And it arrived in the right way. And it arrived at exactly the right time. And it arrived by the hands of your Father. Stand firm. I'm not finished yet. The next step will seal what I'm building. And you will see. With the eyes, with the heart, with the soul. It will happen. And it will be indisputable. You feel like something inside you has been activated. A different peace. A new understanding. A firmer faith. This is not imagination. This is a reflection of a seed that heaven planted in you as you listen to each word. And this seed was not placed to move you, it was placed to transform you. Because what I started to do today does not end here. In fact, this is just the beginning. You're not ending a video, you're crossing a spiritual portal. A change of season. A transition that separates the time of waiting from the time of fulfillment. There are things that you don't even know yet, but that have already started to move. People are being touched. Situations are being reorganized. Environments are being prepared. And all of this is connected with your name, with your purpose, with the promises that I myself have released over your life. You're not just getting a word, you're being repositioned. Something about you has changed. And that something will change everything around you. Because inner transformation always precedes outer manifestation. And what you are feeling now is proof that heaven has already begun to work. Son, I didn't bring you here to give you a nice message. I brought you because there was a moment scheduled between us. A meeting scheduled before time. And in this meeting, I needed to remind you of who you are. How much you were seen. How much was saved. How much he was trained. And, above all, how close it is to experiencing what seems so far away. What I have shown you so far is just a part. There is still more. Much more. And if you remain in me, I will lead you step by step, revealing each new direction at the right time. I am renewing your vision. Expanding your horizons. Breaking limits that were placed on you by wrong words, by painful experiences, by traumas that tried to silence you. But now, I am releasing a new mindset. A new spiritual language. And with it, new attitudes will come. You will begin to see doors where you previously saw walls. You will start to have ideas where before there was only fear. You will stand up more firmly, you will walk more lightly, you will speak with more conviction. Because it's no longer you trying to convince yourself that it's going to work. Now it's you believing, knowing, discerning, it's already happening. And I want you to understand something very important. What I'm doing is in layers. Today one was activated. Tomorrow another will be revealed. And then another one will be released. Because this is not a one-off miracle. It is a continuous process of glory. A move that will take you from faith to faith, from understanding to understanding, from provision to provision. You will look back and realize that the change was so smooth, so aligned, so progressive, that you won't even know the exact moment everything turned around. You will only know that you have turned. And you'll know it was me. From now on, your steps will no longer be guided by fear, but by faith. You will no longer go around expecting the worst, but anticipating the best. Not because everything will be easy, but because your confidence has been restored. You heard it, you received it, and now it is being activated. Heaven recorded his response. Heaven responded to your cry. Heaven has sent reinforcement to your spirit. And in the coming days, you will feel the effects of this very clearly. Don't let what you felt here die when the video ends. Because I will still talk to you in other ways. In dreams, in conversations, in everyday details. I will be confirming things to you, opening your sensitivity, showing you directions. Stay tuned. Keep your mind connected, your heart sensitive, your faith lit. Because this cycle does not end, it is renewed. What you receive today is seed. But it's also a sign. And now, every step you take will carry the weight of this revelation. You will no longer be guided by external pressures, but by internal convictions. And that conviction is, God spoke to me. God is with me. And God will fulfill it. And just as it began, the promise will grow, it will blossom, it will manifest itself. And when that happens, you'll know, it all started right here. And the best of all is that this is still just the beginning. You didn't come here of your own volition. It wasn't because it just happened to show up on his screen or because he was bored. I understand that you were only browsing through your feed in an attempt to escape the stress and anxiety, searching for anything to fill the hole. However, the sound you are currently experiencing originates in the sky rather than the soil. This meeting was planned by myself. I was the one who correctly breathed your name. In order for you to hear what would alter your tale, I shifted everything in your immediate vicinity. This message isn't just any one. It's a response. It's beneficial. It's guidance. You believed you were lost. It was not heard or seen by anyone else. You made an effort to read the silences, decipher the indications, and pry open doors that would not open. And that unpleasant, raging question sprang up deep inside of you: does God still remember me? I, your Father, am the one who provides you with a clear response today. I recall. I observed. I listened. I kept watching you. You didn't lose who you were because of me. The world attempted to perplex you. But despite the darkness and the solitude, I stayed. I waited for the ideal opportunity to call you near once more. Give up doubting. Don't downplay your current emotions. I'm touching you when you feel this turbulence in your heart, this chill in your spirit, and this need to cry for no apparent reason. I'm present. I'm going to give you a call. The hour has arrived, I assure you. That time when you prayed in private, waited in quiet, and weren't even sure if it was still possible. This is the time I reserved for you. Now that you're paying attention, be aware that these words contain a revelation. Only those who listen all the way through will receive a spiritual key. You requested evidence. Requested confirmation. Listen, I brought you here. He added softly, God, if you are the Lord, speak to me in a way that I have no doubts. When you considered quitting up, I was the one who kept you going. When the earth threatened to give way, I was the one who held you up. You refused, which is why you're hearing this now. Because he kept looking despite his weariness. He thought something may happen even though he couldn't see a way out. And what pushes my hand today is this trust, no matter how tiny or how great. Nobody saw the tears on your pillow, but I did. I saw your body here, but your spirit far away, your eyes gone. I witnessed the moment when you considered giving up, letting go, and admitting that perhaps the promise wasn't for you. However, I'm here to show you that my pledge is still valid. Additionally, you are at the right place. While there is still time. When it's my time, it's never too late. This isn't something you're hearing by accident. You needed a voice like this. You begged for this hand in silence. This is the start of the transformation you have silently yearned for. Don't leave, then. Avoid jumping. Don't disregard it. Something is currently being triggered. Something that is outside the realm of nature. When you believe, a movement in the unseen starts and continues. It is beginning today and won't happen tomorrow. Your milestone is this video. Your seal is this word. This is your assurance. If you believe that this message was meant specifically for you, fervently post in the comments, "I know that God is speaking to me." It goes beyond a simple remark. Between you and that which heaven has started to deliver, there is a public agreement. Saying, "I receive, I believe, I remain," is analogous to that. You're finally here. He came with boldness, yet with misgivings. Though exhausted, he was full of optimism when he arrived. He came with questions, but he was open to hearing them. And that's sufficient for me to take action. It's not necessary for you to comprehend everything. You just must continue. Because the consequences of this are more than you anticipated. It's still there. Because you are going to unveil the next step in your pledge. I have a lot more to tell you. You made an effort to be powerful. Even though his life was falling apart on the inside, he made an effort to maintain a composed expression and carry on with his day as if nothing were wrong. He locked the bedroom door so no one could see him break, clenched his hands in an attempt to control the anguish, and swallowed his tears in quiet. And I knew your innermost thoughts were begging for assistance, even while everyone believed you were maintaining your ground. I observed. I witnessed the moment you laid in the dark, believing nobody was interested. I seen the work you put in that no one seemed to value, and I witnessed how much you concealed to avoid worrying anybody. I saw you sigh deeply and think, just one more day, just a little more. You were not overlooked. Even when you lacked the strength, you offered yourself. Even when he needed aid, he helped. Even when he wished to vanish, he grinned. And there I was, watching every movement, holding every tear, and listening to every plea that escaped like a whisper when no one else was around. You're not aware of how much you moved me. Because human accomplishments, performance, and looks don't impress me. What's within matters to me. Additionally, you were sincere, committed, and persistent. Despite your anguish, you remained devoted. Even when things were few, he was giving. And it's uncommon, son. It's valuable. I could see the agony you were trying to conceal. Even if your inner voice told me otherwise, I could see that you were attempting to seem decent. I saw you struggle out of bed, face your obligations, and act light to avoid adding to the environment's burden. I witnessed your decision to be quiet in order to prevent disputes and to shield the people you care about, even while you are in pieces. And I was there, gathering your tears like seeds in each of these circumstances. Because purposeful suffering is not punishment in paradise. It's getting ready. When you made the decision to be decent despite your fatigue, you believed no one saw. When you choose to have faith despite the lack of evidence. Even if you didn't understand, you chose to stay. However, I did see it. I also put it in writing. Every action you took was recorded as a sign of your faithfulness in heaven. And I'm here today to tell you that heaven never forgets. An honest soul is never ignored by the sky. The moment for activation has finally come. You'll start to recognize that what seems pointless was actually a training field. To teach you to listen to me, I let there be quiet. In order for you to develop trust, I permitted the suffering. Permit scarcity so you can identify your source. I witnessed your resignation. When, out of duty, he sacrificed what he loved. When you choose to keep quiet and let things fall into my hands instead of seeking retribution. I observed. And even though the world might not have noticed or rewarded you, I will. It won't be done in secret either. It will be apparent. It won't be debatable. Even people who questioned you will be able to tell that I took the action since it will be so obvious. Because it is about heavenly justice rather than human restitution. You came here exhausted but uncorrupted. Still believing despite being hurt. Not defeated, but frustrated. And you stand out for that. Heavenly doors open because of this. You still have faith, no matter how tiny or damaged it may be. And I will construct something new with this trust. There will be more than simply monetary compensation. It is relational, spiritual, and effective. Because I heal hearts, not just dollars. I restore identities in addition to opening doors. And it's about to happen to you. For longevity, not for merit. Spread the word if you think it may help someone who is about to give up. Don't disregard your heart's inclination. Although it could appear to be just another video, it might be the difference between someone having an emotional breakdown and someone else not. Heaven may use you as a conduit to reach another existence. By spreading this word, hope is being multiplied. It's letting the light that has now reached you into other people's hearts. Remain resilient. Because this suffering you endured in quiet will be viewed as a turning point in your life rather than a failure. I have more to share with you yet. And I'll demonstrate to you in the next section how what appeared to be the conclusion was actually the start of the new thing I had in store for you. Now don't stop. The greatest is yet to come out. Have you been wondering when it would be my time while you gaze around? You've witnessed doors being opened for others, heard testimonials, and really applauded others' accomplishments, but you secretly questioned when you would get your response. And I'm here to inform you that it's already on the horizon. I work while you wait. I move as you pray. I am already creating roads where there were previously just impossibilities, while you question whether there is still hope. Your acts of trust were not in vain. No prayer went unanswered. No resignation was disregarded. I'm now letting go of what was suppressed. By time, not by accident. Because this is the moment. Perhaps you still see zeros on the bill. The debts may still exist. Perhaps chest-tightening alerts are still sent by the bank. But pay attention, what I am letting into your life begins in heaven, not with the payment. And the ground reacts when the sky lets go. People, institutions, and seemingly immovable circumstances are all being touched by me. I am breaking down obstacles, encouraging meetings, opening doors, and motivating decisions. Provisions are being made in your behalf. And it's divine intervention, not luck. In the days ahead, you will see signs. A call that alters the situation. A sudden discharge of debt. An idea that wasn't part of the original plan. You will notice that I gave you a deposit even though you did not request it. Because I don't require human reasoning when I move. I make my faithfulness visible via the unusual. Furthermore, what you are going to go through will be a significant shift rather than a brief improvement. This is because I came to teach you how to flourish, not how to survive. For me, prosperity is more than simply having money. It's joy in the heart, tranquility in the spirit, and rest in the mind. The period of shortage is over for you. The start of a new season is upon you. But in order to accomplish this, you must take a crucial step, match your expectations with what I have promised. Give up comparing, questioning, and looking back. Destiny is what I'm offering, not simply riches. I'm placing you where you were previously unable to go. I'm getting you ready to handle what I'm about to give you. Because this will not be a typical blessing. It will be plenty. It will remain steady. It will last. Above all, everything will be done with a purpose. All of this is harvest, not magic. With joy, you are reaping what you sown with sorrow. When no one else believed, you did. When everything told you to give up, you persisted. When your voice was already stifled, you insisted on praying. And the sky is activated by this. It's faith, not despair, that moves me. And your faith remains strong despite the pain and the stillness. And I am releasing it because it was alive. Enjoy this video with trust and subscribe to this channel if you think this promise is for you. This is your visible location in the face of an unseen movement. It is more than simply a digital gesture. It is a means of saying, I receive, I believe, I remain connected to this voice that strengthens me. Saying, I'm here, I'm listening, I'm ready, to the sky is akin to demarcating spiritual territory. But realize that this is only the beginning of what is being ignited right now. This upcoming provision offers a preview of what's to come. I'm opening a source, not just meeting a need. I build sustaining supply streams rather than only sending one-time answers. That's the distinction. It won't be an ephemeral phenomenon. There will be something left. Because no one can pull plants when I plant them. Most importantly, you will sense a change inside yourself as doors open, ideas blossom, and alliances are forged. A respite. A nap. A rebirth. Because as my hand extends, it changes the interior rather than merely touching the exterior. I'm telling you to keep going because of this. What I'm about to share is connected to what I'm telling you now. This is not the end of the term. A fresh narrative is just getting started. I still have more to show you, so stay with me. Not everyone witnessed your actions. Not everyone was aware of the hidden fasts, the renunciations, or the late-night prayers that were muttered. Not everyone was aware of the times you wanted to keep quiet to avoid upsetting anybody or the times you repressed your own tears to avoid coming out as weak. However, I did see it. I witnessed your decision to maintain your faith in the face of overwhelming evidence to the contrary. Even though there was no proof that anything was changing, I witnessed you maintaining your faith. That, son, is more valuable than any accolades, accomplishments, or human acknowledgement. Because the significance of trust that remains unsaid is eternal. I noticed your heart, even though many others classified you based on your appearance. I recognized your aims, even though they criticized your views. Even though the world expected you to provide results, I appreciated your perseverance. You held yourself responsible for flaws that I had already accepted. I never requested the weights that he carried. You made an effort to explain yourself to people who were never interested in doing so. But the truth you conveyed was known throughout heaven. That's why I'm honoring you today, not because you've won every fight, but because you've chosen to stay, despite your injuries. You have no idea how much he was admired. Every time you made the decision to put your faith in me above your feelings, every time you worshipped me in spite of your feelings, and every time you said, I trust, even after being let down, all of this blossomed before me like fragrant incense. The moment has arrived for the public observance of what was constructed behind closed doors. I am the God who makes harvests apparent from invisible seeds. And the faith that never gave up was your strongest seed. You were being built up, even though you felt like you were standing motionless. He was establishing roots even if he didn't think he was growing. The quiet that surrounding you was a process rather than an absence. In reality, I worked the hardest during the period when it appeared that I was unresponsive. Because I formed while you waited. I got ready as you sobbed. I drew the correct road while you pondered how long it would last. And I tell you firmly and lovingly today, none of these times were in vain. You'll begin to see how much you have changed. When you look back, you'll see that what appeared to be stagnation was actually maturity. You've developed the ability to recognize voices. You discovered how to rely on me rather than other people. He discovered how to remain silent without feeling overlooked. He discovered how to get by on less without feeling less. And all of this contributes to the promise's development. Because someone who thrives on praise cannot maintain the blessing that is about to arrive. Only those who have transmitted the secret may be trusted with it. Heaven is not impressed by the extent of your faith. She has depth. And you had trust, no matter how tiny. It was steady despite its tremors. She was honest, even without backing. And my hand is moved by this. Permanence is the source of what you are going to experience, not merit. A lot of people started off stronger than you but gave up in the middle. Even though you began off little, you didn't give up. And for that reason, I decided to give you a prize. The stillness wasn't a waste of time. It was a foundational period. Now, the foundation of the trust you showed while no one was looking will be used to build the home. I observed the planting, but others will see the results. I was there during the fight, but others will rejoice over the win. Prepare yourselves, then. For what appeared concealed will be exposed. There will be commotion to recognize what you lived in solitude. And anyone questioned it would have to acknowledge that God was the one who carried it out. And at a time when everyone believed you were alone, you did it because you were faithful. How often have you felt that you wouldn't be able to survive another day? How many times did you squeeze your eyes shut in an attempt to keep the hopelessness that was rising inside of you under control? Nobody was aware of the incessant weight, the quiet cries, or the internal conflicts. But I have seen, and I am God. I realize that despite your outward displays of strength, you were pleading for assistance. I witnessed moments when thoughts claimed it was over, when dread stopped you, and when it seemed impossible to think that there would be another day. Still, you followed. One step at a time, a silent prayer, a sigh in the middle of suffering. And that's worth gold in heaven, son. When others didn't believe in you, you did. Even when it appeared hopeless, he kept praying. He thanked them despite his fatigue and made promises without seeing a reaction. I am here to inform you that none of this has been forgotten. In the emptiness, nothing was lost. Not a tear was shed in vain. Not a single sigh of trust was overlooked. It was all on tape. Before me, every action, every decision to have faith, and every decision to keep faith alive was preserved as a living seed. I'm now turning on the harvest. You're getting more than just consolation. You're getting your money back. What you lost will not be returned to you in the same manner that it was stolen. I'm also becoming more interested in spiritual authority, honor, and glory. Because the person who perseveres through the valley returns with full hands and a heart that has been healed. Despite being shattered into several parts, your essence remained intact. Despite being deceived, neglected, and undervalued, he never gave up on finding me. What many could not, you resisted. The sky now moves for you because of this. Your testimony will take place on the stage of the suffering you experienced. What now appears to be only misery will eventually become a tale that inspires others to persevere. Because I'll turn your wounds into words that can mend them. I will elevate others by using your weakness as a bridge. I'll turn the place where you fell into the step that will help you get back up. There will be no waste. It won't be in vain. I am the God who transforms grief into joy, sorrow into success, and quiet into respect. You will be able to witness the change for yourself. Those who witnessed your fall will see your ascent. And it will be to raise my name, not to exalt you. Because I honor in public those who respect me in secret. It won't be necessary for you to defend, explain, or excuse yourself. I will personally take care to demonstrate that I was with you the entire time. I will defend you myself. And whomever made the judgment would realize that it was God. If this word validates your experience, write it with trust in the comments section. 7777. This is not just a figure. It's a statement of faith. Writing this activates what is being released. It's like using your own fingers to open the door to heaven and saying, I recognize, I receive, I declare that my pain will become testimony. In faith, it is answering the call. The purpose is to document, I still believe. Son, all you endured was training, not an indication of desertion. To help you learn to trust me more than circumstances, I have let certain doors close. Since they wouldn't be a part of your new phase, I let some folks go. I let you weep because I understood what was going on inside of you, not because I enjoyed your suffering. The prize starts now that your trust has grown, your perspective has changed, and your soul has realized that I am sufficient. The harvest is more than simply tangible goods. It has a spiritual component. It's sentimental. It's profound. You'll taste what a new beginning tastes like. After taking a deep breath, you will discover that the lesson is still there even after the agony has subsided. You're going to love without hesitation, live fearlessly, and grin guilt-free. Because the one who gives at the table is also the one who cures the heart. And they're repairing your heart. Because I came to feed your spirit before I filled your pocketbook. You'll be surprised by the following step that comes next. Remain with me. More is still to be revealed. You wept for doors that never opened. He was grieved by unsuccessful initiatives, by persons who departed after making a commitment, and by possibilities that were ideal but abruptly collapsed. You placed the responsibility on yourself, believing that you had done something incorrectly, that you might not have had enough trust, or that something within you prevented things from going as planned. But I'm here now to take this burden off of you. It wasn't a rejection. It served as defense. I inserted a necessary detour in place of what you saw as a harsh no. Because I already understood that what appeared to be nice in your eyes was actually full of traps. You have no idea what I witnessed in front of you. He is unaware of the abysses that were passed off as presents. He is unaware of the ulterior motives and the dangers that his soul was not yet prepared to handle. However, I did see it. And I locked some doors you so much desired out of love. I moved folks who were too near away out of caution. I disrupted seemingly promising procedures out of enthusiasm. Indeed, it was painful. However, you were rescued by what injured you. You weren't disciplined. It was safe. And you would be appreciative of every no I spoke to you today if you could see with my eyes. You prayed with sincerity. He had a pure heart when he made his requests. His objectives were sincere. I'm not a wish fulfiller, though. I'm a dad. Furthermore, a father does not always grant his son's requests. A father gives what he knows will develop, fortify, and grow. And if your request at that point had been granted, it would have prevented you from experiencing what I am preparing you to experience now. I am aware of the frustration, tears, and sleepless nights. For every one, I've been there. And I was careful, even while I was silent. And I held it even while I was silent. You have a better understanding now. Looking back, you see that what appeared to be loss was actually deliverance. Preservation appeared to be the cause of the delay. It was strategy that appeared to be abandonment. I didn't treat you badly. Furthermore, you did not fail. You just put your confidence in me. And the yes I'm going to say was made possible by that faith, even in the face of suffering. An unqualified yes that is free of hesitation, anxiety, and effort. A yes that is peaceful, fluid, and full of meaning and purpose. You don't have to bear the scars of what didn't occur anymore. You no longer have to feel inadequate because of a failed endeavor. I provide you with relief today. I'll tell you now, it was essential. Every stop, every stillness, every detour. Since it was molding you. It involved harmonizing your spirit, repairing your heart, and modifying your vision. Something that you lack the framework to sustain is not something I wish to give you. That's why I worked on you before I released the pledge. The sky opens above your existence now that your spirit is in alignment. Tell someone who needs to know that God's no is caring if this word resonated with you. The number of individuals who blame themselves and believe they have been forgotten while, in reality, they are being safeguarded is unimaginable. As a gesture of affection, send this message. Because what frees you today could be the solution that someone is pleading for in silence. Healing is transmitted via sharing. It serves as a conduit between the people who are still in the valley and heaven. Your days of harboring guilt are over, son. Your identity is not defined by your past experiences. What has yet to occur does not negate what will occur. You weren't overlooked. For the best, you were spared. Additionally, the greatest is already on the way. You'll remember all of this when it comes, and you'll realize that the wait was worthwhile. Because what I have in store for those who believe me is nothing at all. You also had faith. You stayed even if you didn't understand. The moment to receive is now. The next stage is closer than you would believe, so keep an eye out. And I have more to share with you yet. What I made for you, son, is not crumbs. It is not a short-term favor, short-term assistance, or short-term respite. I am allowing inheritance to enter your life. It's accurate. Indeed, it's a reaction to your experiences, but it's more than that, it's an identity. Because you do not stand before a God who provides the bare minimum to sustain you. A father has chosen to lavishly praise you in front of you. Furthermore, in my kingdom, plenty is about purpose rather than accumulation. It's about overflowing to reach others and having enough to complete the tasks at hand. You weren't made to plead for favors. Promises are what you were born to inherit. For a very long time, you were taught that provision was something that happened by chance, from someone, or from a human source. But your source is me. Furthermore, what comes from me is independent of the system, your pay, and the people who can or want to assist you. It's miraculous what I've let into your life. Because I was the one who witnessed your selfless giving. I was the one who noticed when you sacrificed something in order to bless someone. Every act of compassion that went unnoticed was documented by me. I pay with justice, dignity, and glory, I tell you now. Instead of waiting for charity, you are waiting for a promise to be kept. Furthermore, this promise is the result of a life of faith rather than a reaction to a lone cry. When nothing made sense, you trusted. When you had nothing, you delivered. When everyone advised it was wiser to give up, you persisted. You now begin to reap the crop of those who choose to trust even when it looks like the ground will give way, those who are dependable, and the faithful. She won't be discreet either. It will be apparent. It will be powerful. It won't be debatable. Because the world is watching me as I begin to move. And know this, I don't provide anything so important to those who still regard themselves as slaves. I walked you through this procedure for that reason. To mold your thoughts. To restore your vision. To impart the lesson that having a positioned heart allows you to accept more than what you can accomplish on your own. I didn't create you to live off on occasional miracles. You were created by me to live by a constant promise. To serve as a witness, column, or channel. I'm going to release a new spiritual framework, not simply a law. It's a distinct mindset. With me, it's an alliance life. You begged, Lord, I just need a sign. Today, I respond that the signal has already started, not just coming. In the little adjustments made. In surprising answers. In unexpectedly formed connections. In the fresh ideas you've had, in the resurfaced dreams. It's all me, igniting in you the sense that it's already started. The supply won't simply show up, it will stay. Because no one takes it away from me when I deliver. Like this video and subscribe to the channel right now if this word validates what your soul was already experiencing. Despite its simplicity, this gesture conveys a strong message. When you connect with that voice, something begins to move toward you as well. It's like saying, I recognize that I am a son, I recognize that I am an heir, I receive what heaven is releasing upon me. And you're not aware of how much that act of trust ignites. Recall that heirs wait confidently rather than persistently. Youngsters live as though they already know they have a place at the table, they don't ask for crumbs. And you're seated at the table, son. I have meticulously planned this station for you. Furthermore, nothing you have gone through thus far has been in vain. It will be worth the wait. Abundance will replace scarcity. The suffering will turn into a recollection of a bygone era. Because something new is starting, and this new has a lot of significance. You're not merely going through phases. His identity is evolving. One who inquired, to one who oversees. To someone who flourishes with purpose, from someone who battled for every dime. As you listen, all of this is taking place. This term is an activation since it is not a prediction. I do what you think I do. I move as you receive. I spill out while you're still there. More is on the horizon. And what follows will be sudden, strong, and swift like a torrential downpour. You'll be taken by surprise. And that was me, no question about it. I did all of this because I love you, your father. Keep an eye out. The sky will not stop talking. Everything you've gone through thus far, son, has served a higher purpose. Do not consider the hard times, the lonely periods, the struggles, and the days of shortage to be retribution. They were getting ready. Processes are not wasted by me. Your instruction included every tear you cried, every no you were told, and every door that closed. Because those who still consider themselves slaves cannot handle what I am about to put in your hands. Before you could inherit a lot properly, you had to learn how to handle a little. I let you experience periods of oblivion and stillness, just like I did with Jose. He was dumped in places he didn't deserve, sold, and deceived. But I was carving a governor's heart into him at every turn. Those who are polished in anonymity are granted the palace, not those who only dream. And it was the same with you, son. You didn't give up hope when I saw you at your lowest point. I witnessed you being wronged, yet you choose not to get retribution. I witnessed you adoring me while going through closed doors. This is all shaping who you are. It's bringing you into alignment. It's preparing you for the future. I am aware that sometimes you find it difficult to comprehend why some tasks require time. What made you wait so long? Why did you seem to be standing still while the others seemed to be going forward? You start to see now, though, that I was training you to maintain that which is everlasting while everyone else was chasing after things. You did not go through this in vain. You learned to rely on me, not the situation, from your emotional captivity and your days of uncertainty. No blessing could have taught you that. With little, you learned to cook. He discovered how to appreciate the little things in life. You developed the ability to tell who was genuine and who was only present because of what you had. You've matured. Has grown up. It altered one's thoughts, emotions, and dreams. And all of this is a component of the updated version that I am promoting. Because I can let go of what was suppressed on the outer now that you are being healed on the inside. I don't make promises to those whose hearts don't know how to appreciate them. So I had to make you stronger in scarcity before I could bless you with plenty. You are familiar with the experience of having restless nights due to debts. You have experienced the pain of giving up what you wanted to give to someone. You are aware of how difficult it may be to grin without frightening others. And now that you know, you are prepared to handle with empathy, discernment, and equilibrium. I'm not only attempting to provide you with anything. I want to turn you into someone. Someone with a mission. Someone who motivates others. Someone who learns and develops instead of being engrossed in what they are given. You were positioned by everything you encountered. To establish a foundation. To provide organization. For what I have in store is more than simply a boon. It's a legacy. It's consistency. And a legacy cannot be maintained by those who are driven just by looks. I let you cross the desert for that reason. The desert is a place of preparation rather than a place of death. I took the surplus out of it there. That I made the wounds better. That the attachments were broken by me. That I helped you see clearly who you are in me and who I am. I have greater faith in you now that you understand the importance of faith, endurance, and humility. You have proven yourself, not because you are flawless. And whomever is validated gains credibility. The abundance I pour forth will be light rather than a burden. Because your heart is right now. The correct mindset. And the sensitivity to hear my voice even when there is much. You were ready for this, son. You've come this far with every step. And what appeared to be a delay now turns out to be a tactic. We haven't forgotten you. He received training. And now is the moment to put all of your knowledge into practice. Something that could only be delivered to someone like you, someone who decided to keep listening to me despite pain, is about to be released from heaven. Keep an eye out. The next step has already begun. Additionally, it will mark the start of a harvest with a lasting meaning. What you lack does not define you. You are not the daily charge that seeks to take your tranquility, the late bill, or the past due payment. You are neither the statement's number nor its absence. You're not in debt. You're a promise. You are the manifestation of a divine design. The things that are weighing you down now are there to prepare you, not to define you. Because I've already begun utilizing it as a key to unlock what the adversary attempted to use to emotionally jail you. You are not doomed by debt. It is only the environment in which I shall display my greatness. You felt smaller when you looked in the mirror for a long time since you couldn't accomplish all of your goals. He held himself responsible for his incapacity to cope. He held himself responsible for his failure to accomplish his goals. However, I don't view you from the perspective of the system. I don't judge you by your financial performance. I examine your heart. And even when things were scarce, your heart was always giving. No matter what, he was always willing. Despite his lack of comprehension, he was consistently dependable. And my heart is moved by it. True surrender, unwavering love, and silent faith. I'll now demonstrate how your tale will be characterized by triumph rather than deprivation. You were meant to live freely from birth. Financial independence is equally as important as spiritual or emotional freedom. Since I am a whole father, I came to repair your structure as well as to cure your spirit. I want you to live a modest, dignified, and honorable life. I want you to exhale in relief as you gaze at your home. I hope you can open the refrigerator without worrying. May you walk free from the weight of stress, dread of the future, and hopelessness since you have no idea what the future holds. Because the flow only becomes stronger when I am your source, rather than drying out. The adversary attempted to convince you that debt was your fate. He made an effort to persuade you that he would always be constrained and that this stage would never end. However, he lies. And I'm going to tear that untruth from your heart today. You weren't meant to live. You were selected to thrive. Furthermore, having money is not the only factor in flourishing. It's being content with what you already have. It is peacefully napping. It's living a happy life. It's about having enough to accomplish your goals and yet be a blessing to others. And the discharge of this into your life has already begun. Faith is the first step. Not with a number. With trust. Because the movement of heaven is triggered by faith. And your faith remains strong despite being worn down, little, and tried. And I'm answering because you're still here. Where there was no wall, doors will be opening. Resources will start to appear in unexpected locations. You will see innovative concepts, unanticipated provisions, and tactics that appear straightforward but will benefit me. Because I will act with the plenty of my hand, not the power of your arm. Enjoy this video with trust if this word resonated with you. This is a positioning, not just a click. When you respond with faith, you connect yourself with what heaven is already doing, so it's like you're saying, I believe, I receive, I change my identity today. It's a decision, not an emotional one. And the first step to live what I have prepared is choosing to believe. You weren't made to live a restricted life, son. What I have in store for you won't be sufficient. Plenty will be available. Furthermore, ostentation won't be tolerated. There will be more than enough. To accomplish. To bestow blessings. Because the promise is not limited to you, it also reaches others after passing through you. The solution will be you. You'll be a spectator. You'll be the channel. You are no longer constrained by debt. You are no longer defined by shame. Your thoughts will no longer be controlled by anxiety. A new cycle now starts. A cycle in which you regain your identity. Where you raise your head once more. The point at which you glance up instead than down. Because the source of your supply is above. And the source of your glory is higher. Keep on, because I'll show you what's causing this reversal that has already begun in the following phase. You'll still be taken aback. It won't be little either. There will be a lot. It will be apparent. It will be amazing. Do you recall the day you prayed, Lord, if one day you bless me, I will not forget you, when you were in agony? I listened. In addition to listening, I also remembered what I had said. Because I remember vows made in tears, unlike men. I'm here to inform you that I'm answering that request. Your requested supply is on its way, but it comes with a bigger purpose. I'm not simply making things easier for you. I'm going to open doors for you to become a channel. A multiplier. Someone who understands that he was meant to overflow rather than live in fear of lack. You won't only receive supplies. We'll send you. For whomever is cured of scarcity develops empathy for those who remain in it. Anyone who has experienced the stress of not having it is well versed in how to ease the hardship of others. And for that reason, I choose you. Because your heart wasn't hardened. Despite your justifications, you did not revolt. You remained open to the suffering of others. I can trust more now. Because the one who is fair in many will be giving in little. The forthcoming affluence is not meant to boost self-esteem. It's to complete a task. The goal is to save lives. It's to create pathways. Unbeknownst to you, you will be the answer to prayers. You will find yourself playing an instrument you never thought possible. You will connect with people who might not even be aware of your existence today. And since I will be the one directing every movement, this will occur organically. I'll put you in contact with folks. I'll arouse your heart with thoughts. I'll give your spirit instructions. Because what starts out as a personal miracle becomes a group endeavor. The blessing I am bestowing on your house will be too great for you alone. You promised not to forget. I am aware that it won't. Because on the day of suffering, I glimpsed your heart. I could see you meant it. Even when you had nothing, I could see that you were willing to be exploited. I now present you as a living example of my continued ability to work miracles. That I still live a purposeful life. That I continue to inspire people to do amazing things. You weren't picked at random. It was meticulously prepared. Every hardship, learning, and suffering you went through prepared you for this new era. Tell someone who needs to know that God's prosperity is a purpose, not a show, if this word resonated with you. You are surrounded by individuals who are waiting for guidance, a sign, or an answer. And that word could be the thing that gives a weary heart new hope. The commitment includes sharing. It serves as a conduit for others to share in this awakening. Your crop will be bountiful, son. However, what sets you apart will be how much you share rather than how much you own. How well you realize that destiny, not prestige, is what matters. Serving is more important than displaying. Making good use of what you have is more important than possessing a lot. And you're already activating this. You'll start to experience a new level of spiritual awareness. You'll be able to see where there is suffering, need, and opportunity. It will also take action. It will happen. We'll deliver. I'm confident that the source will never run out, yet I'm not scared of missing it. I have a lot of things planned for your life. It's not just for you, though. It's via you. Therefore, don't be shocked when I unlock the doors. They are more than just incentives. These are commissioned. They place you in a position to guide, bless, and ease. And I look after all that belongs to you while you look after others. The secret is that. That's the key. There will never be a shortage on earth for someone who lives for heaven. Remain with me. You'll see what occurs when the mission fulfills its promise in the following stage. And that's precisely what you're going to go through. I was not surprised by anything that occurred in your life. No unanticipated bill, expenditure, or urgent necessity came without my prior knowledge. I had already moved the answer before you even realized there was an issue. I am a father who predicts, not a God who responds. What you haven't yet noticed, I see. I get it ready before it disappears. Before it hurts, I turn it on. When I instructed the ravens to feed Elijah, it was like this. The supply found him, he didn't have to follow it. And I'm doing that to you right now. Activating previously released resources that are only accessible via faith. Have you ever questioned why some things didn't turn out as planned or why some possibilities passed you by but didn't materialize? And I'll tell you what, a lot of them were covert supplies that you were unable to seize out of fear. You weren't ready yet, but others were right doors. And I was in all of them. I could see your real desire to do things well, your aim, and your hesitancy. And I'm here to teach you something new today. Trust doesn't wait for proof. Before manifestation, faith takes its place. Faith understands that even if the eyes cannot see yet, if I promised, it is already done. Heaven has already given you what you require, son. To see it when it comes, however, you must align your vision. I send in unexpected ways. The solution can occasionally be found in a casual invitation, a seemingly insignificant thought, a person who shows up out of the blue, or a straightforward chat. However, it is the sky in motion in the unseen. And you'll notice if you're sensitive. Because the provision that emanates from me is accompanied with firmness, guidance, and calm. It does not lead to misunderstandings. It doesn't make you afraid. And you'll know that if you're in contact with me. And now, it's here. Your perception has been snatched by anxiety. The bill seems to be empty when you glance at it. Examine the documents and note any debt. You sense urgency as you glance at the calendar. However, I want you to see provision when you look up. Look at my concern. Look at how devoted I am. Because there is always a response for those who seek me. Whoever prioritizes me always comes out on top. Your source is me. The fountain also never runs out of water. I am your source of income. Furthermore, nourishment never fails. I am the one who multiplies the small till there is more, who makes water come out of the rock, and who sets the table in the desert. You are about to enter a period in which your faith will be the key that unlocks long-locked doors. Additionally, placement will be the key, not effort. It will be due to your compliance rather than your power. It will be for your sacrifice, not for your connections. I'll show you more the more you trust me. The answers will come more quickly the more you rest in me. Because I respect people who choose to have faith through to the end. Subscribe to this channel right away if this word is strengthening you. Because this is only the beginning of what I'm unleashing. I will still give you more instructions, more activations, and more disclosures. Additionally, you may connect with the movement of the sky when you connect with that voice. It is not merely another piece of content. It's an altar. It serves as a link between your life and the one I am creating for you. You're not by yourself. Furthermore, it was never. I was behaving silently even while you believed that nothing was moving. Because I frequently work on the foundation before the miracle materializes. I teach you to walk before I open the door. I bolster your confidence before making the resource available. And now that your heart is in alignment and your faith has grown, I start to release more intensely. The supply is en route already. The favor is now free. And you'll see this plainly in the days ahead. Things that once seemed inconceivable will start to make sense. And you'll know, the key to paradise was trust. Remain with me. You will be surprised by the following stage. When the money came in, you assumed the shortage would be over. When the door opened, when the answer arrived, and when the transfer reached the account, he believed that everything would be different. Today, however, I assure you, scarcity ceases when you know where it comes from. Since genuine change doesn't begin with your wallet. The mind is where it begins. The spirit is where it all begins. It begins when you walk with the provider instead of pursuing the resource. There will be worry, comparison, and dissatisfaction as long as your hope is dependent on the system, your arm's strength, or what other people can do for you. However, everything changes when you rest in me. Inside, not outdoors. The well hasn't dried up, son. All you could see was the bucket. The employment, the family member who provided assistance, the customer who made the payment, or the wage that was received were never the source. I am the source. I also succeed. I don't put things off. I am not reliant on the timetable. I can honor you without anyone's consent. You won't be able to perceive what is already coming as long as you are preoccupied with what is absent. Since anxiousness is similar to a blindfold, it causes you to frantically try to solve the problem I'm already working on in quiet. Living in fear is not what you are called to. He was not made for currency counting. He wasn't picked to wait for a miracle every day. You were created with the promise in mind. To relax knowing that your tomorrow is already being taken care of today, to live with dignity, and to walk in peace. I am not a last-minute God. I intentionally am God. And heaven connects with you when you are in alignment with that goal. Your spiritual identity is where your financial transformation starts. Because he does not live like a servant if he is aware that he is a son. A person who is aware of his inheritance does not lead a life of poverty. And you must not forget who you are, son. To live, I didn't call you. To multiply, I phoned. I called for prudent sharing rather than hoarding out of fear of scarcity. Because having too much doesn't make scarcity go away. When you learn to trust even with little, it's over. I know who supports me, and that is enough, is a phrase you will eventually master. Your mind is now experiencing a sense of relaxation. A revitalization of your vision. Because it is necessary for you to gaze up instead than down. I am your haven. Your powerful tower is me. It's me who keeps you standing. Circumstances are not supporting you. It is supported by an all-powerful God who never sleeps, fails, or changes. I recognized you for what you still had, your faith, while everyone else saw you for what you lacked. And everything starts to change as a result of this confidence. The uneasiness that still existed within you was reflected in the paucity that surrounded you on the outside. And I'm ending this cycle now. I am removing from your mind all traces of spiritual orphanhood. Every limiting notion that stated, this is all you can live with, it will always be like this, or you will never get out of this, is false. Phrases used to ensnare you in a situation I never placed you in. With the power of heaven, I proclaim today that you are no longer subject to this. Free from the suffering attitude. Liberated from the anxiety of scarcity. Released from the nauseating comparison. A new season has begun. Not because the external issues were handled, but rather because an internal issue was overcome. And that makes all the difference. Modify your prayer style. Modify your dreaming style. Modify your gait. You realize that the source is not terrestrial. The source never dies. And you will never be in need as long as you are linked to that source. It might not turn out the way you expected. It might not come as you anticipate. But it will happen. It will always arrive. Since I am dependable. Since I am the Father. Since I am your source. And that's more than sufficient. Keep an eye out because you will begin to receive what you believed you needed in unexpected ways. I had to modify your insides first, though. And I can let go of what was suppressed now that you know who is on your side. You're closer than you realize to the next stage. All you need to do is keep listening. I have more I want to share with you yet. This is the time for which you have been prepared. Indeed, trained. I was preparing you even though I didn't realize it, even though I felt like I was still, and even on days when nothing seemed to be moving. Every tear that flowed, every silent prayer, and every amen said in the middle of fatigue were all a part of an imperceptible yet essential process. You believed that you were incapable, that you lacked the resources, and that you weren't prepared. Heaven, however, has a different perspective. Because I study hearts, whereas the world assesses capabilities. Additionally, the school of waiting, the chamber of stillness, and the furnace of agony all molded your heart. You realize now that it wasn't late. It was a training session. You're not here by accident. It resisted, and it came. You decided to trust even if you couldn't see it, which is why it came. He came because, despite everything screaming that it was no longer worth it, he wanted to stay with me. The moment for yes has come, I tell you, now that your inside has been polished. The unquestionable yes, not just any yes. This version opens up regions that have been blocked for years. The response that will allow you to exhale with relief. The indication that the harvest cycle has started and the waiting cycle has finally ended. You have no idea how many people watched this time from above. Every time you considered quitting, I saw you. I witnessed the moment when everything appeared to push you away. One by one, I watched the doors close, yet you kept praying. When you stated, "It hurts, but I trust," I noticed. And angels were touched by that phrase, which was a scream of trust. What's being unleashed now was triggered by this resistance and this choice to keep believing. Because it is faith that moves me, not despair. And even if your faith was weak, it was genuine. You weren't formed for survival by me. I taught you how to rule. To take the lead. To handle the responsibilities that come with maturity and responsibility. I didn't release it sooner for that reason. Because what I'm going to give you is a legacy, not simply a solution. Something that will endure. Something that will benefit everyone around you, not just you. You will fulfill the commitment, but in a methodical way. Judiciously. With equilibrium. Because you're ready now. And I am aware that there are still worries in your heart. I am aware that you have a part of you that is scared to believe after so many disappointments. A part of you fears having high hopes and then being let down. But today, I'm telling you not to be afraid. It will not be the same as previously. It won't split in two. It won't come and then run away. I'm going to accomplish something solid. And you will know for sure that I was the one. Because this time, the blessing will be stable rather than erratic. A period of stable relationships, finances, emotions, and even spirituality. A season of progress and rebuilding. I am ready to live. God's yes is not only a digital gesture. If you sense that this message was sent straight to you, post it in the comments section with faith. It is a significant prophetic event. It's similar to sketching your agreement with what I've already decided in the sky. The spiritual universe is moved when you announce with faith, "Lord, I receive. I'm ready. Here I am." Write with conviction, since you are now experiencing a major release in your life. You endured the hardest parts, son, and you held your ground. They labeled you overblown, delusional, and a dreamer. But you didn't leave. And heaven calls you approved today. From a reliable source. Immediately. You're closer than you think to saying yes. You won't be able to question that it is God, since it will be so obvious, correct, and unexpected. It's the satisfaction. It's the solution. It's the reward at the end of the procedure. Because I have more to reveal, stay with me. Confirmation of what you have been waiting for will be the next step. It's on its way. It has already begun. You will also provide testimony. Have you ever experienced such disappointment that you began to question even seemingly positive things? You now live with a hidden terror in your heart. What if it is not from God? You have endured so many broken promises, hollow words, and false doors. Could it be another trap? What if I'm injured once more? And I'm here today with love to assure you that what I have in store for you won't cause any uncertainty. There won't be any question about it. Your soul won't get restless. You will be able to tell when it comes. Because it will be accompanied with honor, tranquility, and purpose. Furthermore, there won't be any more space for uncertainty. It will be obvious. It will be sanitized. I'll be the one. True blessings are accompanied with relief rather than loudness. It comes in waves rather than with a last-ditch attempt. And I behave like this. I deliver to fulfill rather than to overburden. To repair. To validate what was already inscribed in your soul. And you've never encountered anything like what's about to happen, son. Considering that you are no longer attempting to make it happen. Right now, I'm giving you what I made when you were high. Nothing will need to be forced. No one will need to be pursued. You won't have to exhaust yourself, justify yourself, or establish your value. My benediction is accompanied with an authenticity stamp. Includes spiritual guidance. Furthermore, it is accompanied by peace. A peace that invades, that establishes, that beyond explanation. When you see what's ahead, you won't have any doubts. As it will be different. Since it will be complete. Because the right people will be there at the right moment, in the right way. It will fit, it won't be forced. It will be meticulously shaped and not hastily put together. And I am aware that you still have that resistance. You have a part that wants to believe, but you're scared of being harmed again. You have memories of reaching out and being met with nothingness, but a part of you longs to offer your arms. However, I end this cycle today. I purge the dread of retelling stories from your heart today. Because what is about to happen is redemption, not recurrence. It's access to something that has never been experienced before, not a return to what has already happened. You'll sense it, too. Since the Spirit bears witness. Because your spirit will be at peace. Because you won't let your feet falter. I am a sign-based God. And you will be accompanied by the signals. Words that fit together perfectly, doors that open without pushing, little gestures, and subliminal affirmations. And this word will stick in your memory. What you're hearing now will stick in your memory. Because everything will seem to make sense when it gets there. The duration of the delay. The procedure. The quiet. The suffering. The ability to wait. Everything will line up. The core of my will shall be the point of reference for everything. And the promise develops naturally there. Because obedience is the promise's surroundings. And you did what you were told. Enjoy this video as an act of faith if that term resonated with you. It's a spiritual posture rather than merely a response. It is a simple gesture that has a deeper meaning than meets the eye. Lord, I believe, and I am ready to receive what is yours, without fear, without resistance, with peace. Because heaven moves in response to your response of trust. And things begin to make more sense. You won't have to inquire if it was me, son, when the answer is given. You'll be aware. Because a holy signature will accompany it. In a like manner. With dignity. Really. Your heart will feel at ease. It will validate all of my previous predictions regarding your life. You'll realize that the wait was worthwhile. Trust was worthwhile. Because it's here now. And it came in the proper manner. And it came just when it was supposed to. And it came via your Father's hands. Remain steadfast. I have not yet finished. What I'm developing will be sealed in the following stage. And you'll see. With the soul, the heart, and the eyes. It will occur. It will also be undeniable. Something within of you seems to have been triggered. An alternative tranquility. A fresh insight. A stronger faith. This isn't fantasy. As you listen to every word, heaven sowed a seed inside of you, which is reflected in this. Furthermore, the purpose of this seed was to change you, not to move you. Because this is not the end of what I began doing today. Actually, this is only the start. You're passing through a spiritual doorway, not finishing a video. The season is changing. A change that distinguishes between the waiting and fulfillment periods. Even if you aren't aware of it yet, certain things have already begun to move. People are being moved. Things are getting rearranged. Environments are being set up. And all of this has to do with your name, your mission, and the vows I have made for you throughout your life. You're being repositioned, not just given a term. You've altered in some way. And that something will transform your surroundings. Because external manifestation usually comes after inward development. And the fact that you are experiencing this right now is evidence that paradise has already started to function. I didn't come here to say pleasant things to you, son. I brought you since we had a prearranged time together. A prearranged rendezvous. I also wanted to remind you of your identity throughout this meeting. How much people saw you. The amount that was saved. The extent of his training. And most importantly, how near it is to experiencing something that felt so far. This is only a portion of what I have showed you thus far. And there's more. A lot more. And if you stay with me, I will guide you step by step, unveiling each new path when it's appropriate. I'm giving you fresh eyes, broadening your perspective, breaking boundaries that were imposed on you by hurtful events, inappropriate language, or traumas that attempted to silence you. However, I am now presenting a new way of thinking, a fresh spiritual vocabulary. New mindsets will also accompany it. Where you formerly saw walls, you will now start to notice doors. Where there was just dread before, you will begin to have thoughts. You'll talk with greater conviction, walk lighter, and stand up more forcefully. Because you are no longer attempting to persuade yourself that it will work. You are now the one who believes, knows, and discerns. It is already taking place. Additionally, I want you to realize something crucial. I'm working in layers. One was activated today. Another will be unveiled tomorrow. After that, another one will be made available. Because this miracle is not a one-time event. The process of grandeur never stops. A step that will lead you from one religion to another, from comprehension to comprehension, and from one provision to another. When you look back, you'll see that the transformation was so seamless, so in line, so forward-thinking, that you won't even be able to pinpoint the precise time when things started to improve. All you'll know is that you've turned. And you'll be able to identify me. Your actions will now be dictated by trust rather than fear. You're going to start anticipating the best instead of the worst. Not because things will be simple, but because you feel more confident now. It's being activated now after you heard it and got it. Heaven captured his answer on tape. Your scream was answered by heaven. Your spirit has received reinforcement from above. And you will definitely feel the impacts of this in the days ahead. Don't let the video's conclusion ruin your feelings. Since I will continue to communicate with you in different ways. In everyday details, in conversations, in dreams. I'll be giving you guidance, opening your sensitivity, and verifying things for you. Keep an eye out. Maintain a sharp intellect, a sympathetic heart, and a strong faith. Because this loop is repeated rather than ending. You were given seed today. It's a sign, though. And from now on, this realization will weigh heavily on everything you do. You will now follow your inner convictions rather than outside forces. And I really believe that God spoke to me. God is on my side. And it shall be fulfilled by God. And just as it started, the promise will develop, bloom, and materialize. When that occurs, you'll realize that this is where it all began. The nicest part is that this is only the beginning.